Yeah. Sorry, I have a question.
Okay.
Gabby, curiosity, is my microphone coming through? It's kind of concerned that my stop. Do I sound okay right now? Is it coming in smooth? No.
Okay, I need to look okay.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank your audience. Today I'll be talking about campaign finance through our organization known as Super. Today we face a bitter reality. The United States is no longer a democracy, indeed in the hands of a select few of the upper class. To this ordeal, we give credit to Super, organization that democracy is valued tradition. Super PACs, also known as political action committees, have had an incredibly negative impact on the American election process. Through their manipulation of soft money political donations, they have deteriorated core values of democracy. make sense of just exactly what a super PAC is, I'll be breaking this segment into three parts. First, the origins of soft money, the rise of super PACs, and lastly, the influence of super PACs on the presidential election process. So, to begin with soft money and super PACs. So, the origins of soft money revolves around the history of the McCain-Feingold Reform Act of 2002. This act was in accordance to a very bad history of soft money. Now, to put in perspective, soft money. Soft money is money given to a political party that is unregulated. It's also unregulated from its source, meaning that, for instance, political action or any sort of donor donates an unlimited amount of money without giving a source at all. Became an increasingly growing problem. According to a study from D.E. Apollonio, from 1992 to 2002, soft money political contributions raised $86 million, all the way up to $496 million. That was just within the course. Now, with this problem, Congress finally recognized it, and they essentially decided to act on it. Now, in particular, there were two congressmen, Senator John McCain from Arizona and Senator Russ Feingold from Wisconsin. Together, they enacted a bill that prohibited the use of soft money in political campaigns. This action considerably reduced political corruption in the election process. It was known as a great step towards fair and democratic elections. This would soon change. From 2002 to 2008, the election process returned to its 2004, but on the eve of 2008, the Supreme Court Now, let's talk about the birth of super PACs. In 2008, the Supreme Court ruled that corporations are granted free speech rights, because all citizens are granted free speech by the First Amendment. Now, technically, these political speech rights are also granted into donation. You may have guessed, it means that, once again, corporations and all interest groups are allowed to donate money unregulated and entirely protected by the First Amendment. So, taking advantage of this, corporations formed super PACs, funnels that allowed for millions of dollars to be streamed. Now, according to a review by journalist T.R. Piety, most of the funds in the campaign of 2008 for both parties went into negative campaign ads, a trend that would grow rapidly in 2008 and 2012. It became an incredibly growing issue because political parties were able to get millions and millions of dollars from a very small, concentrated amount of money. This disproportional amount would soon have problems. So, let's talk about the consequences of super PACs, but in regards to their influence in elections. With the exceptionally disproportional amounts of soft money donated from super PACs, the nature of elections soon became skewed. Grassroots contributions, as a result of the influence of super PACs, significantly lost influence in 2008 and 2012 respective presidential elections. To put things into perspective, Romney's campaign totaled $977 million, and Obama's campaign also totaled it was $1.1 billion. That amount by itself is ludicrous. Sheer money that was spent in these campaigns to finance incredible issues that the United States faces today, hunger, education issues, unemployment, etc. Now, this underlies the principle of disproportional representation, or if a few select individuals, less than 1% of the American population, have such drastic influence on the American election, that highly undermines the rest of the country, the 99%, that are unable to get their voice out properly because they don't have as much money. Now being clear that super PACs greatly skew the basis of the electoral process, it is easy for one to see how the core values of democracy are under threat from corruption. In conclusion, it is blatantly obvious that super PACs have allowed for soft money to process. Considering that fair election is one of the key principles of democracy, then the democracy that we live in is under threat of true corruption. The crushing influence of super PACs is a great sacrifice to the basis. The presidency is one of the most influential offices in the entire world. The fate of this position now falls largely to the elite few. Nothing is done soon to alter this course. The United States shall fall from a valued democracy, corrupt and unrepresentative government. Never forget that the power must belong to the people. Such blatant evidence of corruption, super PACs are an immediate threat to the political nature of the United States and the world over. Thank you very much.
Awesome. You're free to go. Thank you.
Okay. So how many of you have ever held or touched a wild animal? Anyone? Okay. Well, okay, cool. People have. So for my internship at the Burke Lake Banding Station, I've gotten the opportunity to hold and work with a variety of migratory birds and get some field experience in as well. So today I'd just like to talk about the Burke Lake Banding Station and how it's important for a variety of reasons. So first of all, we take birds out of the nets using safe methods, and we monitor their populations. We also offer valuable outreach to the local community, and we're a really valuable resource for MSU students. So just a quick mission statement on the Burke Lake Banding Station is we integrate avian research, training of current and future wildlife professionals, and the education of people of all ages while showcasing the diversity of avian wildlife inhabiting Mid-Michigan. So my first point I'd like to make is that Burke Lake positively impacts birds. So to capture these birds, we use mist nets, which are about 10 feet tall. They're made of a very thin thread, so the birds get caught in them, and then we hand take them out. And this has been proven to be the most safe and efficient technique of capturing birds. In a study done in 2011 by Spotswood et al., compared to other techniques, mist netting has low rates of incident when conducted with bird safety precautions in mind and adequate training. And so after we collect these birds, we get data from them, which informs us on populations and how different species are being affected. The advisor of the station, Dr. Jen Owen, look at the bird's condition, the amount of fat it has on it, the amount of muscle stores, how much it weighs, really important factors on a bird ready to migrate. So the second point I'd like to make is that Burke Lake Banding Station is a really great resource to the public. We're a really unique banding station in that we actually allow the public to come to us. Not all banding stations do that, so it's really neat that we have such a close resource nearby. We cater to a variety of people, but we mostly cater towards kids, and that's important because we want to instill a sense of nature, appreciation for nature, so that they can go on to live their lives in an environmentally friendly way and maybe even get jobs that will support the environment. And another group of people that we really cater to are birders, and they get to come out and they see the birds in the hand, so it's a lot easier for them to go out and see the birds in the trees, and it's easier for them to identify them. Okay, so the third point I'd like to make is that Burke Lake is great for MSU students, both undergrad and graduate students. We've had several classes come out this year with their professors to just kind of learn about what we're doing and kind of see what we're doing in the field. They also offer internships, and MSU graduate and undergraduate students who are conducting research can take the data that we collect and they can use it for their research. So those are just all the important ways why Burke Lake is really important. Just in conclusion, we are really valuable to many in the surrounding area, and we practice safe birding etiquettes, and we provide outreach to the public, and we're great for MSU students. So just if you're interested, you guys can come out either like anytime between mid-August and mid-October, and you can hold a bird, or if you don't like birds, then that's okay, you don't have to come out, but yeah, so come visit us. And if you have questions, you can ask me too.
Yeah, hi. Oh, next is mine. So may I come in? Okay. Today I will talk about indoor plant. One day you finish your final exam and went by your dorm, discovered your dorm messy, dirty, and have a peculiar smell. Lot of textbooks, dirty clothes, and snakes cover full of dorm. You feel uncomfortable. Then you want to change your dorm, finish clean. You find your dorm very monotonous. You want to increase a little vitality and make your dorm better beautiful. So the first choice for you is to buy the beautiful indoor plants. However, you didn't know how to culture them. The flowers soon faded. So how would you plant and cultivate after you buy flowers? So in the first, we should know the advantage of indoor plants and why people love to buy them to improve life quality. The indoor plants can improve microclimate. It has a non-negligible role in the regularity of indoor temperature, humidity, and the indoor environment. Also, green pixels photosynthesis absorb carbon dioxide in the air, the release of oxygen, so that the reductions of carbon dioxide in rooms, oxygen increase, and the negative ion concentrations in the air increase, so that people indoors feel fresh air. The indoor plants can build a domed environment. Compared with the general decorations are more energy. There are two main aspects of the indoor green of the environment. One is beauty of the plant itself, such as the color, shape, and the smell. The second one is we can make the combinations of different plants to improve the indoor environment, from the form, texture, and the space. The indoor plants can cultivate temperature, which the plant can refuse, release precious vegetations, make it easy to interest and keep our attention. And the emerging healthy. The Professor Aham also said, the green can arouse people to the natural beauty of the associations. Then we can deep understanding of the characteristic of the indoor plants and how to slow down the result. The indoor plants are formed with origin, tissue, cell, and original. The 6 origins are roots, snaps, leaves, flowers, fruits, and the seed. And the 4 basic organizations are conservations, nutrition, conduction, tissues, and the merism. And the blossoms of each indoor plant is difficult. In flower cultivations, we can use technology to control of the time of flower blossom. It is also known as inhabit cultivations, such as regulating temperature, adjustment of light, and application of breeding technique. In normally camp, we need flower pot or flower scissors as cure. Also, we should change the water and clean the plant leaves regularly and pay attention to the temperature in winter. Finally, there are many types of indoor plants. Which types you prefer to choose or satisfy to you if you want to improve those environments, those indoor plants? Some indoor plants have the great vitality, such as cactus. It is very convenient for people to plant because people don't need to care for them at a high frequency. Even forget it for periods of time, it will not die. These types are suitable for lazy, busy, and careless people. And a large part of beautiful indoor plants in dirt, such as violet, is very gorgeous. This will take people excellent visual experience. However, this need to take care of at a high frequency and only have a limit fluorescence. These types of indoor plants are suitable for people who live a regular life and lovers. Hydroponic is a new type of indoor plants without source, and hydroponic plants are very popular types for people. It has the clean, healthy, elegant scales, no environment pollution, and more energy. However, the variety or qualities of hydroponic plants is not very satisfactory around the world, so these types only have a very short fluorescence. And it is suitable for everyone who want to improve storm environment. So the types of indoor plants have the great vitality or beautiful indoor plants in dirt or hydroponic plants are very suitable for you if you want to improve those environments. That's all. Thank you. I'm finished.
Thanks.
How many people have taken a break while studying only to find that they've been on their phone for 30 minutes? How many people have stayed up late cramming for an exam? I know I'm guilty of all these different things. These things can be stressful for a college freshman, or any college student for that matter. In this speech, I will attempt to educate you all on specific issues freshmen go through and give you tips on how to avoid these problem behaviors. To become successful students, we need to focus on 3 different things that students like ourselves go through. We need to focus on poor study skills, bad time management skills that can make us feel unprepared, and dealing with things that stress us out, and how to fix all of these problems. Let's start with the one that comes to mind first when we talk about school: study habits. Poor study habits can weigh students down, and they can suffer tremendously within their classes and in their lives. But if students improve, that would mean the world of difference. In 2005, researcher R.Z. Elias looked into the relationship between a deep approach and a surface approach within studying. When students took the deep approach, they did a lot better and had a lot better grades. When they did the surface approach, there was a significant negative relationship with their grades. This just shows that good study habits can benefit us significantly. According to the Berkeley Student Learning Center, some good study habits to introduce to our study time include studying in an academic place like a library or at your desk, studying the hard subjects before the easy subjects, avoiding distractions like your phone that I talked about, asking questions of your professors or TAs, and taking hard assignments one step at a time. We as college students can all relate to these. From my experience, I know that they work because I've taken the so-called surface approach before, and my grades showed it. If we have good study skills, If we have good study skills, we're also likely to have good time management skills because you have to put aside the time to study well. However, if we do have bad time management skills, they can make us feel unprepared. For example, I had a 5-page paper and I knew about it for 2 weeks, except I did not start it until 2 days before it was due. I got a lower grade than I would like to admit, and that's because I had poor time management skills. I felt very unprepared for that paper, but usually I feel prepared because I start working with plenty of time before. I also usually get better grades on my papers than that. We all know how that goes. This example just shows how time management can really affect our grades. According to the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay, good examples of time management include establishing goals for your work, following a schedule, writing down important dates on a calendar, and checking them. And my personal favorite is preparing priority lists for each week. While I was writing that paper, it was stressful, but many college freshmen go through plenty of other stressful things. In fact, for a college freshman, it's really hard to handle the large stress load that we go through. College freshmen have a lot of new experiences, and with that, they have a lot of new responsibilities as well. How they handle that stress, though, can make or break them. According to the CDC, if students handle stress poorly, they can have tension and irritability, fear and anxiety of the future, difficulty making decisions, trouble concentrating in their classes, and even physical issues like back problems and headaches. To stop these symptoms, the CDC recommends connecting socially to your peers, regularly exercising, sleeping, and taking a break, sleeping, and if you need to take a break, if you're too stressed, take one. These tips on stress management help students avoid becoming too stressed to handle other factors in their life, like time management skills or study habits. To conclude, all specific issues college freshmen face can be avoided if people know how to handle them properly. Our poor study habits that are weighing us down can be helped by avoiding the distractions and studying smarter. Bad time management skills that make us feel unprepared can be improved with following a schedule and making priority lists like I do. And dealing with things that stress us out can be improved with diet, exercise, sleep, and a break if you're too stressed. Now we should all know why we shouldn't take a break from studying that leads to 30 minutes of Twitter time, and why cramming is not always the best answer. Instead, we now know how to use our time wisely, study smarter, and never forget to de-stress. I hope that I've provided insight into the things that college freshmen face and how to deal with them. Thank you for your time.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about pseudo-pregnancy in dogs. So you wake up one day and suddenly you're 9 months pregnant. Your abdomen is swollen, you're over-emotional, you're vomiting incessantly, you're restless, unable to eat, and you're even started guarding and taking care of that stuffed animal that you've had since you were a baby. And next week, you're no longer caring, you have no baby, and you're back to normal, as if nothing's happened at all. Crazy, right? That's just the occasional life of a female dog. Female dogs who are not spayed often experience what are called pseudo or false pregnancies, a phenomenon caused largely by hormonal factors that can greatly affect a dog's behavior, mood, and physical condition. So you're probably wondering, what are the causes and effects of a pseudo-pregnancy and what can be done for a dog going through one? If you find your dog nesting, experiencing distension of the stomach, crying, and becoming lethargic, and you suspect that she may be going through a false pregnancy, here's what you should know about what's going on. There are a few essential things every female dog owner needs to know about false pregnancies and why they happen. False pregnancies are a phenomenon that commonly occur in dogs that are not pregnant but exhibit all the symptoms of being pregnant, such as bloating, loss of appetite, depression, lethargy, vomiting, and so on, according to Vinu Nair, author of an article on dog false pregnancy for canine dog owners. This usually occurs because of a hormonal imbalance that occurs in the dog after After a while, she's experiencing her estrus, which is a dog's heat cycle that occurs every 6 months on average. According to Dr. Mike Paul, writer of Pseudo-Pregnancy in Dogs for Pet Health Network, the condition occurs when a dog's hormones take longer to properly recover to a normal state after her estrus and progesterone levels remain high. Progesterone is a hormone produced by the ovaries which triggers the thickening of the endometrial wall and the preparation for pregnancy after ovulation. Once progesterone levels recede, the endometrial wall sheds, the preparation for pregnancy stops, and the female should be back to normal. However, since this hormone is remaining in the dog's body for a longer period of time after her estrus, her body is experiencing the symptoms associated with the pregnancy as it tries to prepare her for the care of her new litter. So now that you know why your dog may be experiencing a false pregnancy, we can talk about diagnosis, symptoms you should look out for, and how to distinguish between a false pregnancy and a real gestational pregnancy. Symptoms of a false pregnancy occur approximately 7 weeks after the dog's last heat period and are a mirror to the signs of a real pregnancy. Here's what to look for. The easiest way to distinguish between a false pregnancy and a real pregnancy is through monitoring their behavior. Usually behavioral changes occur overnight and very rapidly. Once again, Dr. Paul says that when a dog is undergoing pseudo-pregnancy, behavior changes are very sudden. A dog will usually begin nesting, nurturing, and protecting small toys or items that she considers to be her surrogate puppies. My dogs have, in the past, adopted small toys as their puppies that they brought outside, to use the bathroom or inside, like when we give them baths, inside the bathtub, and to my lap to protect them from my other dogs. She may also become depressed, aggressive, and experience fluctuations in appetite and energy levels as she oscillates between restlessness and lethargy, according to a report on false pregnancies in dogs by the Veterinary Centers of America. The physical symptoms cannot help identify a false pregnancy. These signs are typically more difficult to discern when it comes to a pseudo versus a genuine pregnancy because the signs mimic each other. An article in PetMD states that dogs will often experience bloating and distension of the abdomen and therefore will go through rapid weight gain. Her teats will also become swollen and may secrete a brown watery solution or occasionally even milk. Similar to humans, the dog may experience morning sickness and vomit frequently. Dr. Paul says that the only way to know with certainty if your dog is pregnant is to take her to the vet to receive a blood test, ultrasound, abdominal palpation, or radiograph. Luckily, once you know your dog is experiencing a pseudo-pregnancy and not a real one, there are a few steps you can take to help look after your falsely expecting dog. Though there is not much that can be done in terms of treating a false pregnancy, you can help ensure that your dog is comfortable as possible and not punished for her behaviors as she goes through it. Remember, she expects you to keep her and what she thinks is her puppy safe from any harm, so it's important to look after her and respect her maternal instincts. Billionaire insists that it is essential to avoid touching the teats, which can increase her tenderness, soreness, and milk production, which can actually be uncomfortable and actually even painful for the dog. It is often recommended that to prevent her from stimulating them, the owner should dress her with the cones of shame or cover her body with a sweater. If you're particularly bothered by her behavior, you can attempt to assist in resolving her symptoms by discouraging her maternal instincts, destroying her nests, taking away the surrogate puppies, her toys, and perhaps reprimanding her while she nests. This, however, is frowned upon as it creates added emotional stress on the dog, which can actually make the symptoms worse and can lead even to aggression, which is dangerous, in trying to abort a false pregnancy. Remember that false pregnancy is a normal, healthy behavior, not a disease, and is except in very rare cases temporary. So in order to prevent pseudo-pregnancies and even just her heat in general from occurring, PetMD recommends spaying your dog as soon as possible. This poses an added benefit as studies show that generally dogs who are spayed live longer because of reduction of diseases, infections, and cancers that can happen in the reproductive organs. Hopefully you all can consider yourselves experts in the realm of pseudo-pregnancy in dogs. In case you're not feeling too confident, here's what you need to know, and here's why false pregnancy is significant even if you don't have a dog. Female dogs can undergo false pregnancy when progesterone levels in the blood released after ovulation do not recede, and this contributes to the persistence of gestational preparation. These will include physical and psychological symptoms as her hormones trigger her maternal instincts. You should always check and see if your dog is not experiencing one of the symptoms of pseudo-pregnancy as a result of some other ailment, so check with your vet if you're not sure. Dogs will usually become very protective, maternal, sensitive, lethargic, emotional, bloated, nauseous, and aggressive while undergoing the false pregnancy, and these changes occur very suddenly, so just look out for behavioral changes as if you're suspecting it. So it'll help you determine, if it's a regular pregnancy or a false one. A part of being a good dog owner is making sure that your dog is comfortable and happy. If she seems overly distraught during her pseudo-pregnancy, comfort her, but avoid confronting her or taking immediate action, which can lead to aggression once again. Consult at any time if you're concerned about the health of your dog. Even if you don't own a dog or do not like dogs or animals in general, hopefully my information on pseudo-pregnancies provides you with the opportunity to see things from an animal's perspective and appreciate how they communicate with the human world. Of course, if we all woke up one day and felt and looked pregnant, we'd freak out. I'm sure many of you would. But in some sort of, behavioral phenomenon, animals accept these mystery elements and follow them. And I think that that's really interesting to everyone. So thank you for your time, and that's all that I have.
All right. I'm Jay, and my speech is on the acoustic guitar. Who would have thought that configuring a few pieces of wood and 6 metal wires could evoke emotion in people around the world? While this device was originally inspired by its predecessor, the lute, this 6-string instrument paved a new way for composers and songwriters alike. The acoustic guitar has become commonplace in modern music, and upon its initial introduction to music, the world of music was revolutionized. This piece of musical equipment has aided a form of communication that doesn't require words. Because the acoustic guitar has played such a large role in modern music, I'm going to inform you on the history of the history of the acoustic guitar, the composition of the guitar and how it works, and lastly, how the acoustic guitar has shaped modern-day music. As a result of the invention of the acoustic guitar, a new world had been opened and welcomed creativity and inspired new genres of music. According to GuitarNoise.com, a guitar publication, the date the first ever acoustic guitar was produced is unknown, but scientists have dated the first guitar as being made sometime around 1750. It was produced in Italy by a luthier whose identity to this day remains anonymous. The first acoustic guitar was shaped very differently than guitars today. It had a much smaller body, a shorter neck, and it also had no interior bracing. Over the next few centuries, this new instrument underwent massive changes by instrument makers around Europe. The instrument then started to evolve. It picked up little nuances from each artist. Some artists created instruments that featured engraved headstocks or unique sound holes, and some used different species of wood. At this point in time, each guitar was one of a kind. Each was made by hand and often made by a different person. According to John Whiteside, a guitar maker, building a guitar by hand can take up to 200 man-hours. To identify the mark of their hard work, guitar makers leave their signature on top of the headstock, which is a tradition that is carried on to today. Now that you have a brief background on the acoustic guitar, let's talk about how the acoustic guitar works. The acoustic guitar is made up of many parts. The 3 main parts are the body, the neck, the bridge, and the headstock. The body is made of wood, adhesive, and sometimes binding. It is hollow and has a specially shaped back, sides, and top. It houses all the guitar's bracing and sound hole. The body is responsible for amplifying sounds produced by the guitar. Next is the neck. The neck of the guitar houses the frets. The frets are set in precise locations on the neck to produce different tones and identifiable notes when the string is pressed down. After that is the bridge. The bridge rests on top of the guitar below the sound hole. It is responsible for holding the strings in place. And the final part of the guitar is the headstock. The headstock is where the nut and the tuning pegs are located. The job of the nut is to raise the strings above the frets. The nut is usually made of very hard plastic or sometimes even bone. The tuning pegs are responsible for tuning guitar. They are simply a winding mechanism that either tightens or loosens the tension of the string. To play the guitar, the string must be plucked or strummed, which creates a vibration on the string that resonates to a tone to the body of the guitar. That tone is then amplified and projected out of the sound hole, and the sound that we hear is made. Every acoustic guitar contains these basic components and works in a similar manner. The acoustic guitar is such a diverse instrument. It can be used in a large variety of genres and plays a role in many people's culture. The guitar is unique because it can accompany other instruments or it can be played solo. From country to pop, the guitar has always been the main instrument for American music. Think about the last time you heard a song with acoustic guitar in it. It probably wasn't so long ago. The acoustic guitar is so prevalent in today's music that it has become iconic. Many people have made a living off playing the guitar. Artists like John Lennon, Bob Dylan, John Mayer, and many others have all used the acoustic guitar in their own individual way to create music that has made them successful in their craft. The acoustic guitar is truly an artist's tool. It is an instrument that has contributed to a great deal of modern music. From its original European roots, the instrument has spread globally and contributed to different cultures. The design of the acoustic guitar has changed over the years, and so has the music that it has created. The acoustic guitar has carved out a spot for itself in modern-day music and has inspired many. It is hard to wrap your mind around the fact that wood and a few strings put together could create such a wonderful instrument. Next time you find yourself listening to the radio, think of the acoustic guitar and how it has shaped and inspired the music we listen to today.
Can you hear me? You can't hear me? Now can you hear me? Let me see. Hello? Now can you hear me?
Yeah, just turn it up.
This is the highest it goes. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, start.
Okay. I'm talking about the economic effects of the Olympics, and the idea I want to talk about is the effects of the Olympics on Beijing's economy. And my speech will inform the audience about how hosting the Olympics affected Beijing's economy. We all know that the Olympics is the biggest sporting event in the world, and we all know how excited countries get when they're able to host it. But have you ever thought why a country would want to host the Olympics? You may think, who wouldn't want to host the Olympics? It brings great tourism and excitement to your country. But if a country spends more than $40 billion to prepare for the event, is its benefits really worth it? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. Sorry. The preparation for the Olympics proved costly for Beijing, but we will see if it's worth it in the long run with its effects on different areas of the economy. The Olympics had economic effects on Beijing from long before to long after. They invested $40 billion in infrastructure for the Olympics, and now explain what they had to do to prepare for the Olympics. Then I'll explain the impact on the economy after the Olympics. To host the Olympics, a country would want to look as good as possible. And China took this, and you could see it in the steps that they took to prepare. After winning a bid for the Olympics, China began a 7-year effort to meet the high demanding conditions for the game. They invested a lot in sports facilities, infrastructure, technology, and transportation. Now that you know what they invested in, let's see its rewards. Beijing hosting the Olympic Games started having good effects almost immediately. The Olympics brought a lot of visibility to the host country, and this helps the number of tourism in Beijing to rise greatly. Because of the high standards required to host the Olympics, however, Beijing benefited with better environmental plant and facilities, better transportation, and the sports industry benefited greatly. Even though the Olympics did help the economy and living standards in Beijing, it also brought some harm. In preparation for the Olympics, China was called out for its lack of human rights and environmental policies in general. Reports showed that several Chinese companies were using workers as young as 12 in dangerous work environment. And with laws prohibiting unions and the right to strike in China, nothing was done about this. Even though the economic benefits were good for majority of Beijing, the poor people suffered. More than 1.5 million people were displaced from their homes in preparations for the game. And while there were some bad views and poor treatment on China's part while hosting the Olympics, the economic part was mostly positive. Even though it cost a lot of money to prepare for the Olympics with its high standards, it paid off economically and environmentally in the long run for Beijing. China's human rights identity did suffer greatly, however, with poor people losing homes and young children working in bad conditions. China sure hindered its reputation with the whole world watching. So next time you're with your family watching the Olympics, think about how much goes into this sporting event rather than a track race or just a swimming race. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Because there's something wrong with my mute, so I can really hear other people's talking, but I hope like it's fine with my microphone. So, okay, my camera is a little bit weird. It's, yeah. Okay. Have you ever seen a 3D movie with 3D glasses in a movie theater? Have you ever wondered how those large dark 3D glasses could make a 3D scene that's happening right in front of you? The lenses of the 3D glasses let the brain into correlating two different images into one, creating a three-dimensional image that is nothing but an illusion. Now I'm going to talk about the principle of binocular vision system and stereoscopy. Human beings using binocular vision to perceive depth and see the world in 3D. The binocular vision system relies on the fact that our two eyes are spaced about 2 inches apart. Therefore, each eye sees the world from a slightly different perspective. And the binocular vision system in your brain uses the difference to calculate distance. So the binocular vision system lets us easily tell with good accuracy how far away an object is. Based on the principle of binocular vision system, stereoscopic imaging is a technique used for creating or enhancing the illusion that an image has depth by showing two slightly offset images separately to each eye of the viewer. Both images are the same scene and object, but from a slightly different angle of perspective. This is meant to trick your brain into synthesizing that a small lateral displacements between the positions of the images are implying special depth. So how does stereoscopy related to 3D glasses? 3D glasses filter two different images that allowed only one of the images into each eye because they contain lenses with different polarization. The same scene is projected simultaneously from two different angles in two different colors, red and green. The 3D glasses cause one of the images to enter one eye and the other to enter the other eye. This causes the viewer's left eye to see only the image from the left projector and the viewer's right eye to see only the image from the right projector. The brain receives these two separate images and fuses them into one 3D image. After I talked about the principle of 3D glasses, let's talk about the health effects of 3D glasses. A VSP doctor in Ujjain says in many cases where patients have marginal binocular vision, their ability to use both eyes together was not ideal. About 5% of the population can't perceive 3D because they are monocular, which means they only use one eye to see. With 25% of the population has borderline binocular vision, meaning they can use both eyes to perceive 3D, but it's difficult. Although there's no studies evidence that 3D can damage the vision system, it's important to remember that people need to protect their eyes. All in all, 3D glasses trick the brain to make a 3D image by filter two different images that allow only one of the images into each eye. Next time you go to movie theater for a 3D movie, you should know how 3D glasses work and how simple they are. That's all.
All right, I guess I'm gonna. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? All right. My speech topic is about culture shock. So since I came to America, there are so many things that are different from what I have learned for past 15 years, and I have been here since 10th grade. But I can tell you from the bottom of my heart, I'm still not used to how American lives their lives every day and the American culture. My English has improved so much since the first year I came to America. However, it does not mean I can speak about any topic to anyone. And also, American food fits me pretty well, but I'm just never used to it. In the family relationship, we have totally different ways to deal with family issues. First, I'm going to talk about language. Language, I have tried to talk in English as much as I can for past 3 years, and it worked pretty well since I came from a small school in Illinois, and maybe because we only have 2 Chinese students in our high school also. However, it also took me 3 years to understand some inside jokes my friends would talk about when they hang out, and maybe it's a quote from a famous English movie or a book, and I have to read and watch off those to get a sense of their humor. And trust me, it took me a while. Food. I love American food, and I love all kinds of meat. I cannot live without it. As simple as that. I'm still not used to American food. Maybe just because simply I love Chinese food more. And I remember once I was tired of American food, and so I quit eating for 3 days. My host mom freaked out, and she decided to cook some Chinese food for me. And because of that I love her so much. Also, family relationships are totally different between America and China. And maybe because the society that we had in China and family issues has become our own issues, and we will take care of it. For example, if my parents start a fight and I know it like 30 minutes later, my grandparents, my uncle, my aunts will be at my house, and they will try to figure out what's going on in our family or what happened to my parents. However, they will get involved for everything that they can. And sometimes it's just scary, So as much as that, I prefer American style. Like, your business is yours. People won't get involved unless you brought others into your issues. From those different perspectives that have taught me for many things, and I am pretty well prepared to deal with any issues that will happen in my life. And that's it.
Can you hear me? Because I have some questions about the homework, and yeah, I have an internet crash yesterday night, and yeah, so I upload the assignment kind of, yeah, okay.